Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, I was going to edit this video, and I somehow managed to lose the opening clip of this video. So there is no intro or anything like that, so I went ahead and I'm just gonna make it here today. In this video, we're gonna go ahead and go over the pros and cons and the differences and all the different things that you might be kind of curious about of the raw packed corn versus the hot packed corn. I've never really canned corn, and so I didn't know which way was best. I didn't know which way I would like better, and so we're gonna go over the taste and the texture and also the processes and everything involved so that you can make the best decision when you are ready to can up your corn. So before we get started, I want to go ahead and invite you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, where we're doing all kinds of videos on canning, dehydrating, fermenting, all sorts of different food preservation and pantry things and all kinds of things, including even a little bit of chicken and garden videos. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe for more awesome videos like that. And if you enjoy this video, be sure to remember and give it a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get started on this video. All right, so now we have the corn. I'm pretty sure that my pressure canner fits 8. If I'm wrong, then I'll just go back and add another one. It's not a big deal. So now what we're gonna do is just add a half of a teaspoon of salt. You don't have to add salt. It does nothing for the preservation of it. It just makes it tasty. Okay, there's that. Now, we have our water has been heated up over here, and so we have the cold corn, and now what we're going to do is we're just going to add hot water to it up to the 1-inch headspace. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to debubble it, and we're going to use this little this is called a debubbler, and you can use this. You can use a chopstick or a wooden stick or a wooden spoon or anything plastic. The only thing you don't want to use is metal. And you can scratch your jar, cause it to have like little hairline fractures, scratches in it, and then that can in turn just cause your jar to break. And you don't want that, because then all your hard work is for nothing. And so what I'm doing with this is I'm kind of pushing on the stuff in there to let it force out any air bubbles or pockets that might be in here. Because if you don't get them out before the canning process, then that can mess with the headspace that is in your food, in your jars, and then that can cause it to just it won't seal. You'll have a higher chance of having a failure in your seal. Now that we have debubbled it, we're going to top it off to make sure it's at the 1-inch headspace mark. All right, so now what we're going to do is wipe off all the rims with vinegar. And we want to make sure that we're doing this just to get rid of any particles that could be on the rim. And because if there's any particles on the rim, it can interfere with the seal. It won't, especially with this, there's little teeny, well, with everything, but with this, I can see that, you know, I'm occasionally wiping off little bits and pieces of the, what's that stuff called? The silk. There's just little pieces of silk all over the place. Now it's time for the lids. You want to make sure that you're using brand new lids. You do not want to reuse your lids. Okay. Now, oh, I'm sorry. Of course I would do that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the lid on a fingertip tight, and that is as tight as you can get it with these 3 fingertips. Okay, now into the canner. since we're doing the raw pack, I didn't have the burner actually on. I just had kind of warm water in here, which is basically the temperature. Once you combine the cold corn with the hot liquid, it kind of just made for kind of warmish. So that's what the water was in there. Now I have the water, now I have the temperature cranked up, and we're gonna do our pre-canning check. This thing is good. This is a little blowout valve, and we're gonna look through this pepcock. There we go, all good. And then this, we're gonna make sure that this thing is moving. Oh, and obviously, you know, you wanna make sure the seal is there. Maybe that's not obvious. Check for, make sure the seal is there too. And in good condition. So there we go. Now all we're gonna do with this is we're going to let it come up to temperature. Once this thing starts venting a bunch of steam, this thing is gonna pop up. Once this thing pops up, we're gonna set our timer for 10 minutes and let it just blow out all the air that's inside of there for 10 minutes. And then we'll put this on. And then once it'll stop, it'll make it to start to actually to raise the pressure here. And once it gets to 10 pounds of pressure and this thing starts to jiggle, we'll set our timer for 55 minutes. Sorry, I just wanted to double check and make sure I was giving you correct information. We're gonna set our timer for 55 minutes. Once that 55 minutes is up, we're gonna turn the heat off and walk away and do nothing until it is until this thing drops. There's no more, you know, this is completely gone. Well, this will go down to 0, and then this thing will stop kind of spitting out some steam, and it's not spitting out steam, but stop oozing steam, and then this thing will drop. When that all happens, we wait like 5 minutes, and then we'll remove this, and then I'll bring you back. So our first batch of corn, the raw packed corn, is all ready to go. Or it's all done canning, rather. So we're just gonna pull it out of here. Try and move it as little as possible. Any water that might be on top of the lids, we're just gonna leave it be. It'll evaporate in like a minute. Don't even worry about it. Don't tip the jar. Just up and out. Okay. So on to making the hot pack corn. Next up, what we're gonna do is the hot pack method. And this method, I went ahead, as you saw, and we cut off all the rest of the corn that we have. Put it into this bowl, and now we're just gonna put it in the water here. Can't see that, sorry. Okay, so all we're gonna do with this is just bring it up to a boil, and that's it. Just bring it to a boil. We're not gonna cook it any longer than that. Just bring it to a boil. So the corn came to a boil, and now we're just scooping it off. We pulled it from the boil, and now we have the actual canner is on the burner. So the instructions didn't specify if we should use this water or if we should use new water. I'm gonna go with new water, and we're gonna put some boiling water in here and put it into the canner. All we're gonna add to this is 1/2 teaspoon of salt into each one. And then we're gonna fill it up with water up to the 1-inch headspace mark. Then we take our debubbler and poke around in here. Just a little bit. It's corn. It's not, I'm so bad at blocking your view, I'm sorry. Okay, so there we go. Double check the headspace. Spot on. And then we just wipe the rim down just to make sure there's no particles on here. Make sure there's nothing gonna obstruct the seal. Then we're gonna take our lid, put it on the jar, and put on the ring. Tighten it fingertip tight, which is as tight as you can get it with these fingers, which I already talked about earlier. I'm sorry. I realize this is a double canning batch video. Sorry. Last one. So we got our last jar into the canner, and now we're ready to just take the next step, which you already know what the next steps are, so I'm just gonna do them. So you can kind of see in these, some of these jars, they're still bubbling away and they're still boiling. So we're gonna let these sit on the counter undisturbed overnight. And when we get home from work tomorrow, we're gonna go ahead and do a little side-by-side comparison of the raw pack versus the hot pack and see if there really is any difference. And we're gonna go ahead and see if it's worth the extra time that it takes to do the hot pack method and see if it yields a better product. So it has been a couple of days since we canned up the corn, and I wanted to bring you back and just kind of show you, because we're doing a versus. So we have the hot pack right here versus the cold pack right here. Hopefully you can see that. And I don't know if you can quite tell in the picture here, but the raw pack definitely doesn't look as pretty in the jar. Not even close. Like, this one's a hot pack, and it's nice, and it's clean, and it just looks really good. And the raw pack here, see if I can get it to focus, there's all kinds of little pieces and little things and just stuff in the jar. I don't know if that is just the corn and the way I cut it or what it is, and I'm guessing it probably was like that just kind of to begin with. And since I went ahead, since we put it into the pot, and probably all that stuff ended up settling to the bottom and didn't make it into the jar. So I'm guessing that's probably why this one looks so clean. But other than that, you know, they both have, you know, about the same amount of headspace. They both kind of, I don't know. But we're gonna open them up and we're gonna try them out. So first, to the raw pack. Perfect sound. It's been like 2 days, so I mean, it smells like canned corn. Tastes like canned corn. Okay, on to the hot pack. Smells like corn. Okay, be real. I really didn't expect there to be much of a difference as far as flavor, texture, anything like that. Texture, exactly the same. Flavor, however, the raw pack wins hands down. This one has so much more corn flavor. It has a much more of a vibrant flavor. And whereas the hot pack is a very muted flavor. It's very just tame. It's not really, I mean, it's not bad, but it definitely tastes like almost a little bit more like processed corn. Processed, like commercially canned corn, kind of. Whereas the raw pack, it tastes like corn right off the cob. And I'm guessing probably, I would imagine a lot of the flavors released into the water when you're par cooking it. So that's probably why that happened. So, my humble opinion, the thing that I will likely forever go with is raw pack. It might not look as pretty in the jar, but it has a much better flavor and it is significantly easier to process. So, for me personally, my own world, my own family, my own pantry, I am likely, unless I have new information and something else comes up along the road, I am definitely going to go with the raw pack. It's better, it tastes better, and it's easier. So, let me know in the comment section below how you like to can corn or how you plan on canning corn if you've never done it before. I would love to hear from you, as well as any other ideas or things that you are canning in your pantry to get ready for whatever you're getting ready for. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye.